China is known for producing world champions in badminton and ping pong. But when it comes to tennis, the country had failed to produce a single player that the general public could think of off the top of their heads as a hero. That is, until Li Na came along and stole the spotlight in Paris this year. Here's her story.
Li was born on February 26, 1982, and from the day she was born, she was destined to master the racket. Her father was a professional badminton player who encouraged Li to take up the sport at age 6. 2 years later, she switched to tennis under advice from a tennis club coach that she possessed more appropriate skills for the sport. After 7 years of developing her skill, Li joined China's national tennis team and turned professional in 1999. While a member of the national team, Li met fellow teammate Jiang Shan, who would later become her husband. The couple's relationship was met with disapproval by the team's management, and this, along with rumored issues with her coach, led her to quit the team after 3 years at age 20, the prime age when tennis pros are finding their niche and conquering Grand Slams. Instead, Li went on to enroll part-time at Huazhong University of Science and Technology, studying journalism. But just 2 years later, Li returned to the national team. It wasn't to last, though. Known in China for her gutsy determination and straightforwardness, Li quit the team again in 2008, citing the desire to pick her own coaches and, more importantly, keep more of her winnings. When playing under the national team, she reportedly had to hand over 65% of her winnings, but is only required to fork out a maximum of 12% independently.
Since turning professional at the age of 17, Li enjoyed a number of successes in the next 3 years on the International Tennis Federation circuit as a singles player and also participated as a doubles partner. But like all other professional athletes, her biggest fear came true. Numerous injuries plagued her playing, and she disappeared off the circuit in the first half of 2002. After 2 years away from the sport, she made her comeback in 2004, this time in the Women's Tennis Association.
Unranked and unseeded, Li returned to the WTA circuit in 2004 after gaining a wildcard entry into the China Open held in Beijing. She didn't win the Open, but went on to clinch the title at the inaugural Guangzhou International Women's Open next, the first WTA title of her career, and the first ever for a Chinese singles player on the circuit. The next year, Li ceased playing ITF games in favor of WTA events. During the next 5 years, Li's career went through periods of ups and downs, highlights being making the quarterfinals at Wimbledon and the US Opens, and the semifinals at the Australian Open, and lowlights being inconsistent win-loss statistics and a yo-yoing WTA ranking. However, Li managed to finish the 2010 year with a top 10 ranking, starting off the year that would be her golden year, 2011, with a bang. At the 2011 Australian Open, Li reached her first Grand Slam final ever, defeating numerous high-ranking opponents along the way. Li's dream run came to an end in the finals, though, when the third-ranked Kim Kachiers beat her 7-6, 6-3 to take the Open's cup. During her admirable battle, Li went on a losing streak after the Grand Slam event, ousted in the early rounds of consecutive matches in 4 successive tournaments. Things were looking dismal for the year until June, when she unexpectedly won the championship's titles at the unpredictable French Open. Notorious for besting the top players of the game, the French Open's clay court became Li's starring arena. She became the first Chinese and person of Asian birth to win a Grand Slam in history, all at the age of 29, a time when most are dropping off the radar and retiring. Li's status as a national hero occurred overnight, and the win propelled her to a career high ranking of number 4. Of her historic win, Li says, "It is a dream come true. When I was younger, I wanted to be a Grand Slam champion. Some people said I'm getting too old, but today, the old woman made the dream come true."
Within 5 minutes of her victory, over 300,000 congratulatory messages were left on Li's online Weibo account, and the picture of her kissing the beloved French Open Cup was retweeted over 100,000 times. No doubt her over 3 million followers will be eagerly anticipating her participation in the first Grand Slam of 2012 at the Australian Open later this month.